But okay, we have a land is supposed to be building a hall that's going to have lodging facilities as well, and it's going to permit us to be able to launch our or run our conferences without always having to maybe have to bring mattresses in and put them in the hall at the end of the day and pack them up in the morning. And it's going to serve as well and ease our programs. Normally we are supposed to be building a hall that has a capacity of 2,000 seats. Well, as we unfold, we are going to see the level of advancement, and we together are going to have to deliberate to see how we can advance in this particular project. So we can move to the next item of the slide. Now, the content of this document, we have 5 items of in the content. We have the documentation, the capacity, the accessories, the costs involved in some of the things we'll be doing, and then now we are going to think together. Next slide. Okay, now talking on the documentations that are involved in our building project, we have 3 documents to put together. We have a primary, really the complete building plan, and the complete building plan is made up of many items. It is made up of the structural laydown of the building. That is going to involve the number of pillars, the constitution of the pillars, and all the technical calculations that are involved. The building plan still has the display of what the building is going to look like. It means that alongside the structural plan, we are going to have maybe the structure of what the building is going to look like, and then it also comprises of the technical document of the building, because we are going to be building a G+2 building. That means ground floor plus 2 other floors on top. We are going to have need that an engineer who is registered in the National Order of Engineers of Cameroon endorse the building plan. It means he has to certify that the building has the capacity to be able to run as a whole for an organization that can take a number of people, you understand? Because they want to make sure that if we have meetings, we will not have the building falling or collapsing. So that is why it is necessary that an engineer in that order endorses the document. So it's part of the requirements for the completion of the building plan. Amen. Yeah. Secondly, we are going to need a building permit. The building permit is the document that permits us. The government gives us or grants us that document to endorse the fact that we are building. You understand? Because we know that all landed property belongs to the government. So for you to carry on any activity on government property, government has to issue you a permission. So that document that the government issues you to permit you carry on any activity on his property is the building permit in our own case now. You understand? And the building permit now, we are going to see the cost down. Then we have finally the land certificate. You know that it is true, you cannot own what belongs to the government, but whenever you buy a piece of property, once you can follow up the steps to get this final document, which is the land certificate, you have full ownership of that land within the next 100 years. So land certificate is the document that certifies that the government has actually leased out that land to connect for the next 100 years, after which connect will have to renew that particular document. So these are the 3 documents that are involved in the advancement of our building project. Hello. Okay, for now we are at level 1. That means we are level of the complete building plan, and we'll be seeing more as we advance. Next slide. Somebody said something. Okay. The capacity of the hall is going to be an object for discussion. Given the norms put in place by the Ministry of Town Planning and Lands and Survey, it is advised, we were advised by the Lands and Survey technician who is in charge. The person who is in charge in developing the plan and following up the building permit is a technician who works with the Lands and Survey. So she advised us, we had a last consultation with her this morning. She advised us that we are supposed to leave space around the building, since it's going to serve as a hall for organizational activities. That it can happen that sometimes when we have programs, people can come with many cars and they will have to park the cars. So it's normally forbidden for cars to be parked on both sides of the road. It causes congestion. So we are supposed to provide at least a parking space within our vicinity that can at least accommodate a number of vehicles, so that in moments of events we don't have to congest the road, because our piece of land is standing beside the road. It's not far from the road. So yes, we're advised to leave space within our vicinity for parking and circulation. So the size of the hall, consequently, because of this, is going to be affected. It means that we are going to have to use lesser space for the hall in order to give space. That's what we are advised to do in order to give space for this course. Let's go on. So, next slide. Okay. Therefore, the surface area occupied by the hall will be 12.5 by 15, giving a total surface area of 187.5 meters squared. So with this, we are going to have, because I was trying to measure the width of one of these chairs. The width of one of these chairs is about 40 centimeters. So when we measure in this space, we are going to have approximately 500 seats at the level of the ground floor. But our hall will not only comprise of the ground floor. Our hall comprises of the ground floor plus a balcony. Yes, the first floor is the balcony, and on the same floor with the balcony is going to be the multimedia and other offices on top. So plus the 500 seaters of the proposed for the balcony, it's going to give us a total of 1,000 seats in the hall. That means if we have to align to the norms proposed by the technician. Let's move on. Next slide. Okay, accessories. Now, for now, we have divided this structure into 3 stages, since we are building a G+2 building. For ease and maybe just a convenience, we have divided it into 3 stages so that we can understand it easily and follow our advancement more easily. So we are focusing today on the ground structure, because the ground structure is what is going to condemning the rest of the building. So we are focusing on the ground structure. So the accessories that will be on the ground structure, if we can build it to the level of the decking, we are going to have a sitting room or a waiting room. It means when you just come to the building, there is a small office space in front that comprises of a sitting room that can take about 8 persons. It means people can come to visit or to eat that is not inside the hall. And we have a secretariat. It means you leave the waiting room and you pass through the secretariat, and then down there is an office with an internal toilet. Yeah, that should we have to maybe finish the first floor or the ground floor and move it, the office can serve us while we finish the structure and move everybody to their permanent site. The office has an internal toilet. We have 2 guest toilets still inside that space, 1 male and 1 female. And then we have 4 general toilets. These general toilets will not be attached to the building. It is somewhere outside. You understand? It's outside the hall, so that during meetings like this, people will not have to rush upstairs, because the lodging facility is the 2nd floor. You understand? On the lodging facilities, we have about 8 toilets. So during programs, people don't have to leave the hall and go upstairs. There are 4 toilets outside for that purpose, 2 male and 2 female. And then we have a good parking and circulation space. Those are the accessories that are going to be on the ground floor. Next slide. Okay, the costs. Now, like I said, we decided to divide the building project into 3 phases. The first phase is the ground structure, the basement, what is going to carry the rest of the building. Okay. Yes, it includes the foundation. So this cost is the cost that we are going to have to spend to finish the ground floor, deck it, and move it. So we have the first cost is the building plan. So the building plan plus the consultation of the building engineer, that's the person who is going to endorse the document and validate the possibility of that kind of the whole of that document plus the consultation of that engineer is going to cost us 800,000 francs. Okay, that we are already at this step. We just need some final adjustments to make on it to completely validate that stage of the project. We have just some adjustments to make. So we went to the site today with 2 other people with the technician, and she saw what she needed to see. So we are certain that given the adjustments that we need to make, we are certain that between now and maybe 2 to 3 weeks after, no matter how tight her schedule may be, we would have validated that particular stage completely. We have now, from there we are going to move to the building permit, where we have this plan completely laid down and the engineer have endorsed the plan. The document is going to move from the Lands and Surveys office to the council, where they are going to have to issue us the building permit. So the building permit is 1% of the total cost of the building. That is, if the building is 94 million, for example, 1% of the total cost of that 94 million is 940,000 francs. So we are going to have much consideration on this particular aspect. So the total for the building cost is approximately, for the building permit, it's a mistake. The cost of the building permit is approximately 800,000 francs still. And then we have the land certificate. The lady advised us that for the land certificate, slowly, that means after we have the building permit and we have started our project, she was like, the land, we can launch the beginning of pursuing the land certificate, and it can take from 6 months to a year, and it can go alongside the building. And she said it can be between 800,000 and $1 million. She said, but with favor we can go down to about even 700,000 francs. Hello. So the cost of the ground floor plus the decking, that means to start from the foundation. I want to repeat that this is a G+2 building, so the foundation really needs to be solid, and plus the fact that the first floor is going to be carrying at least 500 people. We need a solid foundation with good pillars to do that. So the cost of the ground floor plus the decking, and then arranging it for the, that is if we need to move into before continuing, is 22 million francs CFA, giving us a total cost of 4,600,000 francs. That is if we are going to hand over the complete work of the building to people who are going to be building. That means we just give it to technicians as if we were bosses and we sit back. But if we get involved in this activity, we can cut down this expenditure for the first phase. We can cut down this expenditure by at least 4.6 million. If we get involved ourselves, we can cut down this expenditure by at least 4.6 million. It means if we can be involved in the labor, if we can be involved in other activities, we have the possibility of cutting down this expenditure, because much money will be spent on digging the foundation. Since it's a rocky area, the foundation has to be deep since it's carrying 2 stories. If we get involved, like I said, we can cut down this expenditure and we'll spend less and advance more. Next slide. Next slide. Okay. For now, like I said, we are already advancing at the level of the building. This is just a layout of the structural layout of the foundation. Is much more linear. It does not have all the calculation and the specifications and the positioning of the pillars. This one is just a linear demonstration. Normally this document, the building plan, has at least between 18 to 23 pages. Yeah, this is just one page, and these first pages are mostly linear. From the linear demonstrations we'll go to the structural and everything. So on this one now, it is using this one that I calculated the capacity of the hall. This is what she gave us. The hall goes from here to here. It's just that we can't see from a distance, and this distance from here to here has been measured, and it is what gave us 12.12 meters. And then it has been measured to from here to here. This line is the measurement, and it gave us 14.85 meters. It is 12.5 years and 14.85, approximately 15. It is the multiplication of this by this that give us the total surface area only of this whole part, and it's from here to here. Here we are going to have the pulpit, this space, and then ministers here, and then the choir and the instrument here. On the diagram, it's not easily, you cannot distinguish them easily, but there is a good space here for when ministers can see. They can take like 3 columns here, and then here for instruments and the musicians. This is the pulpit. Then now there is a door here, that is why ministers are sitting here. There is a door here that the ministers can easily come out and use these 2 that I was talking about. One for the male, one for the female. Between 4 to 6 people comfortably. And then here now is the secretariat, and this is the office space with the toilet that is attached to the building. Now you see that we have left too much space here untouched. This is the space that was advised to be left. This one is at least 6. No, it's more than 6 meters. This one is at least 7.5 meters that we have left in front of the building. That means people can come and then they park. They can park like this, park like that, park here, and then they will see this small circulation in order to avoid us parking our vehicles by the road, because immediately after this, maybe 2 meters from here, this is the road in front of us. You see, so they will not want us to be parking our vehicles here, and to avoid congestion, that's why we have to leave all this space. And then behind here like this, there is space. There is at least between here and here, we have at least 2.5 meters on both sides of the building. You understand? It is on one of those sides of the 2 meters that we are going to have those 4 toilets outside. That means you can leave the hall and then you pass through here and then you use the toilets. So we have to make adjustments. We're thinking that probably we can put 2 toilets here and 2 toilets here, male, female, male, female, so that from this side of the hall the ushers will usher you. But these are things that we are still going to discuss with the technician and finalize, so that they do the final copy. Then from there they will do the structural calculations and all that. That's why we have just this. I don't know if you understand. Yes. And we have, this is what we have. And for this to be done, we have I consulted our person in charge of finances to know how far we have gone at the level of our finances. You remember, we're supposed to be preparing for this from at the level of our various branches. So far in our coffers we have about 1,066,000 francs in our coffers, and it's going to go a long way to advance maybe to finance the first document that we have already embarked on. Because once we have that first document, we can start activity. Once the plan is out, the building permit will not take us much time. Why? Because the person who is in charge of developing the plan and supervising the building is a worker with the Lands and Surveys Office. So she has the ability to push even up to the level of making it easy for us to have the land certificate. So all we need now is to be committed to make sure that we play our own role, and then the rest will go on naturally. So the floor is open for the money. What we have as at now documented is 1,066,000 CFA francs, and we are yet to include the contribution of these past 2 months, according to the person in charge of finances. So that's what we have. I don't know if I've answered your question now. Okay. So any observations, criticisms, what we need to ameliorate? Yes, sir.
I have to pay for one sheet or that. So we should add that the roof is included there or just the building alone.
Okay. Like I said earlier, I was saying that we have divided the building into 3 phases. You understand? So that we are smart in our goal setting. Hello. So the first phase that is going to cost that 24.6 million does not involve the roofing. That means we build, we deck, and then we are going to do a decking that is not permeable. There is a chemical that you mix with your cement, you know now, and then you deck, and then you will make such that even if it rains, it will not infiltrate the concrete, and then it will drain and ooze out without penetrating. So it's at the level of the third phase of the building that roofing will be involved. I hope yes, ma'am. Yes. 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 Okay. Yes, please take me back to that lay down of the structure. You see that space that is left open, the big okay. No. Okay. Hello. See, according to the structure of our plot, you see, let me consider that the plot is like this. On this side there is another plot that is closest to the road towards the north. Then on this side there is a plot. Okay, thank you, Elijah. Thank you. Okay, what we will do is that we went there this morning after this was already done. This building like this, it will shift this is the front of the building. You understand, Nama? It will be facing directly to the road that is going to be accessed by what you described, the road that we have to open. This front of the building will face that road directly. This is our veranda behind, and behind here now, this thing will come closer now. It is behind here that we are going to leave 3 meters. We are bounded behind here by another plot. By another plot here. Okay, on this left and this right, we are not sharing boundary with the road. On the left and on the right, we have 2 neighbors. You understand now? We will build our fence, and it's within our fence that those toilets will enter. On this left like this and on this right. I don't know if okay, let me explain.